Forest Whitaker, Oprah Winfrey, John Cusack, Jane Fonda, Cuba Gooding Jr., Terrence Howard, Lenny Kravitz, James Marsden, David Oyelowo, Vanessa Redgrave, Alan Rickman, Liv Schreiber, Robin Williams, and Clarence Williams III. That is most of the main cast for this movie. I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty damn impressive. Hey there guys, what's up? It's all about Mike18 here with another movie review. Guys, in this video I will be reviewing The Butler. Now guys, The Butler, I'm still blown away by that cast. Look at that. I had to remember, I couldn't memorize all those names. I had to read them off the poster. I'm shocked they fit all these names on the poster itself. It's crazy how many well-known actors in Hollywood are on this poster and in this movie. But anyway, guys, The Butler is from director Lee Daniels. You guys might remember him. Back in 2009, he directed Precious. That was a very, very good movie, in my opinion. I really liked it. Very emotional, very well acted, well directed, well made. I really liked Precious. Also got some Oscar love and a few Oscar wins, actually. And I was glad. I really liked that movie. And when I heard Lee Daniels was directing The Butler because he directed Precious, I was looking forward to this movie because I liked Precious. And I was looking forward to see with what Lee Daniels could do with this movie after he directed Precious. So guys, The Butler, it's been getting Oscar buzz since the trailer came out, and that's understandable. This movie has a huge cast. I must say this. This movie has probably the most impressive cast since last year's The Avengers that I've seen in the theaters. That's in my opinion. This cast is incredible. Probably one of the best casts in my recent memory, actually, alongside The Avengers. But anyway, so after the trailer came out, guys, I was actually hyping up this movie. I was blown away by all the actors, and I said, wow, this actually looks like a very good movie. It looks like it's going to have a very well-told story, and I was looking forward to it. It's fair to say that I was also overhyping this movie up a little bit too much. So anyway, guys, so here's the big question. Is The Butler an Oscar contender? That's what everyone is dying to know. Is this movie Oscar-worthy? Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Director? Everyone wants to know that. Is also, how did I like this movie? Did I like this movie? Yes or no? I'm going to say that I enjoyed The Butler. However, I was a little bit let down with a few things going on in the movie, and I think that's because I overhyped this movie up way too much. I really overhyped this movie, and I gotta stop doing that. That's a habit I've had all summer long. There have been a few movies that have come out. I've overhyped most of them, and I was let down with a few of them. So I gotta stop doing that, and that's basically what happened here when I watched the movie. But it was still overall a very good movie, very well-made movie. So anyway, guys, let's get into my review for The Butler. The first thing I'm going to start talking about is the story for the movie. Now, The Butler, as it says in the beginning of the movie, in the opening credits, it says the movie is inspired by true events. Now, it's not based on a true story or based on true events because the main character in this movie, his name is different in the movie. They're portraying a man that actually lived in real life, but they changed his name for the movie, and obviously there is historical events, real-life historical events that are featured in this movie. That they are some of the big events of the main storyline. And so that's why this film is inspired by true events, not based on a true story. But anyway, our main character in this movie is Cecil Gaines, played by Forest Whitaker. Ever since young Cecil was a boy, he lived on a cotton farm. He'd experienced a big tragedy, and he's gone through several hardships. And when he was a young boy, he learned how to serve other people. This, by the way, this had taken place sometime in the 1920s, and he learned to serve other people as sort of like a butler, okay? And so he grows up and eventually becomes a butler. He's had a few jobs, and eventually the White House calls on Forest Whitaker's character, and they want him to work for the White House as one of the African-American butlers in the White House. So it's around the time of the mid-1950s where Forest Whitaker's character goes to the White House to serve the presidents as one of the main butlers, and he sees several huge historical events occur as he's serving the presidents in the White House, and so that's basically what the whole movie's about. It turns out that this guy, even in real life, he served for several years, from like the 1950s to like 1980s. So that's about 30 years he's been working in this White House as a butler, and he served under presidents, LBJ, Kennedy, Nixon, Reagan, and Eisenhower. He served under all these presidents, and you've had all these big historical events happen, the Civil Rights Movement, the Vietnam War, and that's what this character sees through his own eyes in this movie. So that's basically the main story for The Butler, guys, and that's actually very, very impressive, that story. It's very, it's a very good premise, and that's why I definitely wanted to go see the movie. I was really attached to the story's main premise, and overall the story writing was good. I'll get into that later. But right now, guys, I want to talk about the cast. I'm going to try to talk about the cast as briefly as possible, because it's so hard to talk about every single actor. I don't think I'm going to get to mention every single actor. I will mention the main actors, though. There's just too many. We have Forest Whitaker in this movie playing playing Cecil Gaines, the butler. And I think Forest Whitaker did a really good job in the movie, really good performance. I was looking forward to him. I really do like Forest Whitaker, and I think he did a good job. There were a few really emotional scenes. I think he definitely paid off. Now, is he Oscar-worthy? Yeah, I think he did a good job. As of right now, I would say he's probably Oscar-worthy. But, we still have the whole rest of the year left, so it's too early to tell, probably. It's not like with Michael B. Jordan and Fruitvale Station. That, for sure, he should be Oscar-worthy, for sure. Forest Whitaker, as of right now, it's a possibility. However, besides that, he was still really good in the movie, and I really do like Forest Whitaker. Moving on, Oprah Winfrey played Forest Whitaker's wife in this movie, and I liked her character for the most part. I obviously also liked Forest Whitaker's character. He's gone through several hardships, overcame all of that, and became something, became a really big part of history, actually. It turns out he did, and I really love that. But Oprah Winfrey plays the wife, and Oprah did a good job in the movie. People have definitely been talking about her possibly getting some Oscar love. Maybe as of right now, she's probably the best actress I've seen all year. Possibly, I would say so. But as I said, it's too early to tell. But Oprah definitely did a good job in the movie. Really good performance. Now, one actor who I really want to talk about, he plays the son of Forest Whitaker's character, David Oyelowo. I'm probably saying his name wrong. I'm bad with names. He plays the son in this movie. He was the main antagonist in Rise of the Planet of the Apes, and he was also one of the antagonists in Jack Reacher. He plays Forest Whitaker's son in this movie, and I think he did a really good job in this movie. This is probably his best movie that I've seen from him to date. I really like David Oyelowo in this movie. Great job, really good performance, and I don't know if he'll be Oscar-worthy, but I really liked him in this movie. Really good job. I like that relationship, that strained, damaged relationship between Forest Whitaker and David Oyelowo's characters in the movie, and good job. A few other actors to mention. Cuba Gooding Jr. did a really good job in the movie. He's such a fun actor. I just love Cuba Gooding Jr. He's always just such a fun guy in all of his movies. He livens up to every single scene, and he definitely stole almost every single scene that he was in. They gave him a lot of good lines. Good job, Cuba Gooding Jr. Lenny Kravitz was another butler. Cuba Gooding Jr. was actually another butler. They both did a good job. Both gave good performances. Terrence Howard was also in the movie. He gave a good performance. And now, briefly, guys, I'm going to briefly mention the presidents. Robin Williams plays Eisenhower. James Marsden plays Kennedy. Liv Schreiber plays Lyndon B. Johnson. What's his name? Oh, wow. Alan Rickman plays Reagan. And I'm forgetting one. John Cusack plays Nixon. See, I'm forgetting all these actors. And also Jane Fonda plays Nancy Reagan, and Minka Kelly plays Jackie Kennedy. Okay, that's it. All right. I think all the supporting cast gave good performances, but I think the two main presidents that really impressed me definitely had to have been James Marsden as Kennedy, and who else? Not John Cusack. Where is he? Liv Schreiber as Johnson. They both gave really good performances. I think they portrayed the presidents that they were portraying very well. I think Marsden did a good job as Kenny, really good job. And I think they looked like the presidents they were portraying very well They definitely did. Alan Rickman was also good as Reagan. Alan Rickman, Professor Snape from the Harry Potter movies. I can't talk tonight for some reason, guys. I don't know why. So yeah, all the presidents gave good performances, but James Marsden and Liv Schreiber, in my opinion, were the best. Guys, that's the whole cast. That's it. I'm done with the cast. All right, no more talk about the cast. This movie definitely, as I'm going to say this, the cast for this movie is definitely the high point of The Butler, for sure. Cast was incredible. Moving on, guys, The Butler is rated PG-13. I would say it's fine for kids, definitely, especially young teenagers. I would say they should definitely see this movie. There's basically just a lot of bad language in the movie. Not a lot, but, there's also a lot of use of the word, the N-word. So beware of that if you don't want your kids listening to stuff like that. So I just wanted to make that known. But definitely, this is a movie that I think kids would actually benefit from. This movie is an historical drama, and I think kids would benefit from this movie, seeing all these real life events portrayed in the film. So I would say this is a movie for kids. They'll learn a few things if they didn't already know the things happening in this movie. And that's definitely good. And finally, guys, it's time for me to give my rating for the movie. I am going to give The Butler. I thought hard about this. I did. I'm going to give The Butler an 8 out of 10. It was a good movie. I was slightly let down. As I said, I overhyped this movie way too much. So getting into the things I liked and did not like about the movie. As for the things I liked, as I already mentioned, the high point of this film is the cast. The cast is incredible. Just seeing all these actors in the movie, that's already phenomenal as it is. But all of these actors do really give good, dedicated performances. And that is why The Butler really succeeds. Mainly because of the acting, especially from Forest Whitaker, Oprah Winfrey, and David Oyelowo, and even Cuba Gooding Jr. They all really gave good performances. You might start hearing some Oscar love for Forest Whitaker and Oprah Winfrey, so be prepared for that. They all really gave good performances. The story writing, guys, I didn't get into this too much in the beginning, but that was one of the problems, actually, except for the first two halves of the movie. The first two halves of the movie I thought were very well written. Few of the scenes were intense and emotional. I was really into those scenes. The last maybe 30 minutes of the movie kind of went downhill for me. I kind of lost interest a little bit. I'm pretty sure that was the fault of the writers, or the writer in this movie. I think only one guy wrote it. But anyway, most of the writing, for the most part, it was good. Moving on, Lee Daniels as director, he did a great job. Really well directed, well filmed. I think I'm going to sneeze. Nope. Lee Daniels did a great job. However, what movie from him did I like more? Probably Precious. I probably like that movie a little bit more. That movie definitely affected me maybe a little bit more than The Butler did. So I like Precious maybe a little bit more than The Butler. However, moving on. So Lee Daniels did a great job directing. And another thing I really want to mention, cinematography was good. It was fine. Nothing mind blowing. Nothing just wow. That cinematography is so good. It's just good for this movie. And another thing I wanted to mention that actually really impressed me was the makeup and the costume design. Not so much the costume design, but the makeup and the hairstyling. That is actually you could win an award for that at the Oscars. That's a category, and I would definitely nominate this movie for that at least, because a few characters, they're really young in the beginning and the middle, and they get old towards the end of the movie, and just seeing that was actually really impressive. Forest Whitaker, the makeup on Forest Whitaker and Oprah Winfrey by the end of the movie really impressed me. In Oprah Winfrey's last scene, I didn't even recognize it was her. That's how good the makeup was. She looked like a very old lady, a very old woman, and I was really, really impressed with that. Good job makeup and hairstyling. And finally, guys, the last big thing that I really enjoyed about this film were the messages that this movie was portraying. The themes of racism and segregation are obviously very strong in this movie. This movie, the main historical event that is occurring in this film is the Civil Rights Movement, and this is definitely a very good movie as a history lesson for the Civil Rights Movement and for the whole era of the 1960s and the 1970s, and I really like that about this movie. This movie is also very intense and in a few scenes and very emotional, and there are a few scenes that definitely impacted me emotionally, namely a scene in a diner and a scene on a bus. Very well done, well filmed scenes that really affected me and made me really feel bad for some of the African American characters in this movie. I really did. I'm not even lying to you guys. There are 2 scenes in this movie that really did hit me. They didn't hit me as hard as some scenes in Fruitvale Station did, but they definitely hit me in this movie, and I gotta give The Butler a thumbs up for that. And that's basically everything I loved about this movie, guys. Now, a few flaws I do have with the movie. I feel this movie, it's already been done before. Namely, this movie reminded me way too much of Forrest Gump. And I know you guys, some of you are going to have to agree with me on that. This movie's a little bit similar to Forrest Gump. Forrest Gump, you had a man with a low IQ. The only difference is Forrest Gump had a low IQ. The butler in this movie was just a butler for the White House. Other than that, every historical event that was in this movie was almost portrayed in Forrest Gump. So, you know, a few similarities between both movies. That's just a minor complaint I had. Also, as I already mentioned, the story writing kind of went downhill for the last 30 minutes maybe of the movie. I was a little, I was so into the movie in the first 2 halves, and then the last half kind of brought my enjoyment down a little bit. I didn't care too much about the last half. That was my least favorite part of the whole movie. Little bit of a problem I had, and that's basically it, guys. I also feel that the fact that they're depicting these historical events, I feel that they kind of messed up a little bit. I feel that movies really shouldn't do this, where they depict so many historical events in one whole entire movie. Just maybe focus on one, because there's just so much going on that movie feels kind of bloated. Forrest Gump kind of felt the same way a little bit, but I like Forrest Gump a little bit more. The Butler is good. It feels a little bit too bloated, especially towards the last half of the movie. But other than that, guys, that's basically it. My main complaints were with some of the story writing. But overall, guys, I enjoyed The Butler. A little let down with it, but it was still a very good movie, very well made, inspiring in a few scenes, emotional, and I really enjoyed it. I would recommend you guys see it, mainly on a cheap night, probably on a cheap night, but if I would say maybe go full price. It's definitely a good movie, well made, very well acted. 8 out of 10 for The Butler, guys. I enjoyed it. I would say go see it. Is it a buy on Blu-ray for me? Probably, but not anytime soon. So, guys, my question is to you. What did you think of The Butler? Let me know down below in the comments. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you think it was too much? Do you think it's an Oscar contender? Do you think it could possibly be an Oscar contender? I feel that it just might be. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed my review. And yeah, guys, that's it. Bye.